It's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in Los Angeles today, joined by Dr. James Miner. He is the Senior Strategist for Academic Affairs at the Cal State University System. Congratulations,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you very much.
23 campuses,
Yes.
almost 500,000 students. This has got to be one of the largest systems in the world.
It is the largest and most diverse four-year system in the country.
I want to talk about this system, which really has changed tremendously since when I was in college. You know, the CSU system had been a system where people would go close to home, maybe they'd start at a community college and then transfer to CSU, but now it's become very competitive. Got probably 20 of the 23 campuses are restricted, meaning you can't just apply and get in. It's become quite a desired set of schools.
So I think that's a fair statement. So much has changed since the time you and I applied for college. But one of the things that has changed nationally is the demand for seats in college classroom nationally. And I think so much of what you speak to is not only a comment about the quality of the CSU degree and what the demand is, but I also think it speaks to the capacity constraints and whether or not we can continue to grow our capacity as we have a greater number of students who are leaving high school with interest in going to college. Right now in the country, we've got the highest number of high school graduates we've ever had since we started recording, which is a very positive thing. We now live in an economy that requires training beyond high school. And I think that message has started to translate to students and families. And so now I think what you see for a university system that is as accessible as the CSU, as affordable as the CSU, is a desired destination for a lot of students. And so we've been working really hard with our partners in the legislature to talk about what it means to grow our capacity to serve a greater number of Californians.
At the same time, while many students are accessing and entering the CSU, what we see is that those that obtain degrees stubbornly low. And it's got to be a bit frustrating. I mean, right now, when we look at freshmen, the four-year goal is to get at least 40% graduated, but only 19% are getting a degree after 4 years. Same for 6 years. 57% are getting that degree, but we're looking towards a 70% number. Talk us through that.
Yeah, a bit of context. This is what is so invigorating and exciting about the CSU's Graduation Initiative 2025. For a long time, the CSU has been well known for providing access and opportunity. Lots of students in the front door of the CSU, fewer of them crossing the commencement stage. And I think the CSU, and I've got to give our Chancellor Tim White a lot of credit, has really sort of made the commitment that the CSU is effectively going to double its four-year graduation rates, move its six-year graduation rates to 70%. And I think if we're able to do that, the CSU will not only be the largest and most diverse, it will really position us as the first and best four-year university system that is also accessible, still commits to opportunity for students from all backgrounds, but does a much better job at getting those students from admission to commencement, and that's what we're up to at the CSU.
At the same time, I wonder if these statistics paint a fair picture, because what I just provided were 2015 numbers. 19% graduation over 4 years, 57 after 6 years. When you think about 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, the recession was still kind of in the midst. And what we saw during those years is we saw sections being cut. We saw admission going down. So, well, look, the goal is absolutely laudable. Are those numbers artificially low?
They are low, and to some respects, what they speak to is the capacity of a university system to provide the resources and support that are required to get students to graduation. Just a quick fact, right now, when the CSU campuses are compared to their national peers. So I'm not comparing us to Stanford, Dartmouth, or other well-endowed institutions, but when you compare us to our peers, right now today, we're spending $1,500 less per student that's enrolled in our system, still with the expectation that we get those students to completion. So I've got to give a lot of credit to our campus leaders, to our incredibly dedicated faculty for being so committed to getting students to graduation and to serving students in an under-resourced environment.
So what you're looking to do is create policies and procedures that will get these graduation rates to soar, pursuant to what we described earlier. What you're crafting, I understand, is not just system-level initiatives, but you're also looking at campus-specific goals.
Right.
I mean, that's got to be tough when you have a system of almost 500,000 and 23 campuses.
Yes, but what's promising about that is an uptick of 1 or 2% in our graduation rates equates to thousands of students crossing the stage that might otherwise not graduate. So we're excited about that, but let me just tell you, I think you're right in noticing that the work that is entailed is really a heavy lift. But we focused in some core areas, and we've prioritized our work to focus on course availability, advising, what happens when students are really close to graduation, support services that happen outside of the classroom, removing administrative barriers that may get in the way.
It seems to me, and I remember covering the CSU 5 years ago, let's say, course availability was a huge problem. I mean, there were students that literally were having to go to the local community college or maybe beg the closest UC to allow them to take a class. Are those days behind us?
No.
No. Thank you for your honesty.
They're not behind us. As a matter of fact, overwhelmingly, the number of CSU students that I engage will tell you quickly that one of their primary concerns and reason for the lag in graduation is that I can't get the classes I need when I need them. And so again, this is a balance between smart policy and practice and just good old capacity and resources to serve students and to add additional course sections.
What about working with your partners in the K-12 system? Because I understand part of the challenge becomes that some students wind up at the CSU while admitted, deemed not college ready, and therefore need to take remedial courses that don't necessarily give credit towards graduation.
Another factor in our graduation rates in terms of the marker, but also the message that it sends to students. We currently have a system, not just in the CSU, but across the country, that says to students, you're admitted, but you're not ready to be here. Go take some courses that don't count.
It seems odd to me.
I'm proud to say that the CSU faculty and the administration and the folks in the Chancellor's office have really taken that issue up, and we're on it. But the other part of that is that you're right, we're working with our K-12 partners to ensure a greater percentage of students who may be CSU bound are academically prepared to be there on day one, and that we don't do the heavy lifting, not only on the K-12 side, but also in the CSU.
So in our final moments, are we starting to see results? Because I do think this initiative is about a year old. I know it's a heavy lift to request that we see results, but how are graduation rates now?
They're up.
They're up.
I'm proud to say that from 15 to 16, we do see 1-2 percentage upticks, which equates to an additional 6,000 degree holders. So we're making progress, and I think we're optimistic that we're going to go faster, farther. Farther, faster.
It's all good. His name is Dr. James Miner. He is Senior Strategist for Academic Affairs at the California State University System, 23 beautiful campuses across the state of California. My name is Brad Pomerance in Los Angeles. This is Local Edition.